Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO.
It's a base race. They're marching, they're flashing, they're going to go for this one. I don't believe this. I do not believe this.
Only aim for perfection. Ain't no half stepping. I'm gonna take you back. Spitting facts, you gotta live with that. Who got it? Who won it? No problem. We mobbing in the city.
Champagne!
Do or die, it's either all or nothing. Best believe I'm leaving out with something. Anytime I got the crowd jumping, throwing rings, know they fist.
Just evaporated. Gudo locking them all in place, linking up with Kiyose. That's an ace.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO delivered by Menulog for week 9, day 1. It's a beautiful Monday afternoon, and Kitty, you're looking damn beautiful. How you feeling this fine morning?
I'm feeling great. Feeling a bit spicy, if you know what I mean.
I think
but
I do.
hopefully you are feeling just as good as me.
I certainly am. And I think the boys over there are looking a little bit red as well. Why's that, Rusty? Are you all right?
Yeah, ate too much chili before the show. It's a serious issue. We're going to work through it, though.
It really is. It really is. What about you, Andre Skimmy?
That's me. Yes. No spice for me today. Although I do love it, I decided not to go for it. Those are my broadcast rules, and I don't want to have an emergency.
You were the smart one.
We
The
held
rest
strong.
of us are in danger.
You really were, smart in that decision. I think it's pretty smart as well to have a look back at last week and check on over these replays, see what went down last Tuesday. There were some crazy games going down. Any memories, any fond memories of last week that anyone wants to throw out?
It's a good place to start, isn't it? Mammoth with another, I guess at this stage it's not an upset win over Pieces. I believe they're 3-0 with their head-to-head now, but they did it in a very fantastic way, to say the least. We've seen some very exciting games from memory as well. Last week was just a series of really good matches back to back to back.
Yeah, for the most part as well. We had Kangar getting that 2-0 week, which is something they need to do to continue to build that storyline. Their run to 5th, their run to finals, which I feel like is almost going to happen. I'm really on that train. You guys heard it from me last week. Are you?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about Fido, aka Faker, just getting the 2 plays of the day, right?
Yeah.
Both was the Cassiopeia and then the Azir. That man on Major, something about it. Like, when he's in form, he, 1v9. So, hopefully, Kanga can make history.
Anything else we want to touch on from what happened last week? Do we want to see a bit more from Peace going into this week? Because I feel like they're sort of tripping at the final hurdle, so to speak.
They are tripping at the final hurdle, and I think if they don't start picking up the game right now with this week, they are not going to make it to playoffs because of their results from last week. So hopefully the boys do get back up and have a strong contender for playoffs. But from what we've been seeing, I'm losing hope, guys. I'm starting to lose hope in Peace. Help.
And if you're losing hope,
We're all losing hope.
I think everyone's losing hope. I think that's the whole thing right now. Let's have a look at the scoreboard, at the leaderboard here, see where all the teams currently sitting. Chiefs still undefeated, looking like they are on that downhill at the moment to try and make that perfect split happen. I'm going to try to curse it with as many caster curses as I possibly can, but at the same time, it would be lovely to see it happen. Second place, a 3-way tie right now. Direwolves, PGG, and Order, all in the conversation there. Peace and Kanga tied for 5th. We'll see how this one all unfolds. And Mammoth, there is a world still where they can make it into that 5th position, but it relies on a lot of teams failing, people beating Chiefs, etc. But there is a very, very slight percentage. And of course, Gravitas still there at the bottom of the table, hunting for that first dub. Now, let's have a look at today's games. Ooh, spicy one to kick things off there. 6 p.m. Chiefs up against PGG. That's one you want to keep your eyes upon. 7 p.m. got Mammoth and Direwolves. Could go either way. 8 p.m. Peace and Order. Same can be said for that one. And then Gravitas up against Kangut to round out the day. I think we are in for a very good day of games.
We are. I actually really like all 3 games for the first half of the day. We do have our match of the week at the very beginning, which is really, really exciting because this was the match from Split 1 where it was contender for grand finals. So really excited to see what PGG has for us tonight. And Dials versus Mammoth, we've seen really good things from them last week, especially from Mammoth because of that game where they won. So I'm excited for that as well. But Peace and Order, with how Peace is performing, I'm going to zip my mouth. You guys take it away.
Reservations in mind. for
Yeah.
that one.
I'll happily
Yeah.
take it away. Now, look, let's talk about playoffs. Let's talk about the road a couple of these teams have to get there. And this graphic here shows the battle for 5th and the road that these 3 teams are currently taking. So you've got Mammoth, Peace, and Kanga. Rusty, what's so special about this one?
Yeah, so a couple of big things here, right, is that Mammoth in 7th place are 3 wins behind Peace and Kanga. So in order for them to make it, Mammoth in reality need to win every single game that they have. The good news for Mammoth fans is that of all of the schedules that exist on planet Earth, this is probably the most winnable one they will ever receive.
Yeah.
So let's just pretend that there is that world that they get 4 wins. They have head-to-head against Peace. They do not against Kanga. So the Stars still need to align here where they can tie with Peace, which means Peace have wiggle room to win 1 game, and Mammoth would still beat them for 5th place, but they can't afford that with Kanga. So any missteps, Kanga are basically in with 1 win. Kanga's first game is Gravitas. So things are very difficult for Mammoth, to say the least, but you control what you can. For Kanga and Peace, it is just about getting 5th. They've got some really hard games. They've got some very straightforward games in there, but Kanga also have that head-to-head. So that's where it's Peace need to be ahead by 1 match. So they have to beat a top 3 or top 4 team in the coming week.
Well, we've also got another road to playoffs, and that's for the battle for 2nd. We've got Order, Direwolves, and PGG all in the running for this one. And most of them have to play one another to get that position. And the reason that this is so important is if you get 2nd and 3rd, it means you get to play 1 game. If you win that game, you are actually locked in for a spot in the playoffs, for a spot in DreamHack. And that's really what they want to be playing for, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the battle for the upper bracket, right? Chiefs already guaranteed to be there at DreamHack. Worst they can do is that lower bracket final, but for the likes of Order, Direwolves, and Pentanet, all fighting out to see if they can get that 2nd and 3rd seeding. I think Order, you look at their run, obviously Peace and Direwolves are going to give them a good run for the money, some of their direct opposition in that position too, but I think for them, going into week 10, when we will have that final playoffs patch, 12-14, when the meta completely shakes up, it's really going to be a big ask to see how quickly these teams can adapt and figure out, what is their go-to plan. Up against Kanga Mammoth for them, I would say Order would have the easiest run in those last 4 games out of these 3 teams.
Well, it's not just about that. It's also a couple of head-to-heads remaining. And guess what? We have Order in both of the remaining head-to-heads, which are happening today, which are happening tomorrow. And we're going to see if they can get that 2-0 over Peace, if they can get that 2-0 over Direwolves, or 2-1, rather, over those 2 teams. Or if it's going to go back the other way, because Order, if they do lose both of these matches, there's a chance they can go real quickly down that leaderboard.
I mean, that's the scary thing about the standings right now, is that we looked at the road home and we're assuming there's a distinction between 2nd to 4th and 5th, which isn't really the case, because right now there's 2 wins separating 2nd and 5th. So this week is important. Every match is crucial. The sooner you get the wins, the better you are poised to actually make playoffs. If you lose this week, if you're Order, you lose 2 head-to-heads as a result, you're in dire straits.
And that, of course, is, that first game is today, 8 p.m. Game number 3, be there or be square, as they say. Now, let's move on to talking about the first game of the day. Not actually the pre-match discussion, but it is just the match of the week. So, Chiefs, Pentanet, it's a rematch we've been waiting for. With Pentanet's form right now, it could be the closest game Chiefs have had to play so far.
You would have to say, of all of the games this split, Pentanet, in their current form from last week, are the best chance of taking on the Chiefs 100%. But every game against the Chiefs is an uphill battle. There's always that part in your mind back where you're like, how do we say match of the week when it's almost written in the scriptures that Chiefs will win every game? But this is the hottest competition that they've had so far.
It certainly is. And there's a real world where this could be a grand final. And, speaking of grand finals, DreamHack, be there, or you're not going to be there. And to get there, you've got to go to lco.gg/DreamHack, get those tickets.
True.
I'll see you on the Friday. I'll see you on the Sunday. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. It's not just League of Legends on. There's plenty of other games, activities, things to do, arena foods to eat, etc. But make sure you get on over to the website, get those tickets, and get to Melbourne, because it's just going to be so much fun. Skimmy, what kind of fun are you going to be having at DreamHack?
Well, when I'm not working, probably be playing TFT. Perhaps we can play some double up, we can duo. Perhaps we can cry about how hard Stark and Diamond. Who knows?
You
Astro
do that
reroll.
anyway. You don't even need
I
to
will
be
cry.
at DreamHack. That's just a regular day
You
for
just replace me from one bedroom to another, mate. The bedroom becomes the DreamHack venue.
Or just, on a laptop somewhere in the crowd, and then when people go, you Skimmy, you go, no, I'm busy. So
Fake.
After this round.
after this round, just get at me.
Me
Anyway,
and Skimmy will forever be molding over TFT,
It's
no
so
matter
true.
where we are.
So true.
no matter where you are in the world.
Yep.
Now, look, let's move on meta check-in. Last week, we moved into 12.13 or 13, depending on how you want to say that one. But these are the champs we're looking at so far. Skimmy, why have you picked these individuals?
Yeah, some interesting stats to look at, right? Obviously, as far as things go for OS and their traditions, they do tend to draw inspiration from a lot of the major regions around the world, but still allergic to a lot of those really strong meta picks, like the Talia, which is seeing a whole bunch right now in the Western regions, but also at the same time Callista as well. The one that stood out for me the most is the fact that Poppy came back in, right? A few jungle nerfs, and suddenly now presence is 100%, right? The win rate isn't too flattering. I think we've seen a few comps where it's literally a solo Poppy acting as your sole engage, which feels a little bit bait. Very hard to try and find those angles if you are behind, especially. No surprise with the likes of a GP and Nar, always going to be those safe blind picks. Even the Silas now, we're starting to see that as a first pick priority. Zeri and Yumi seems to be that bread and butter combo, but obviously teams are going to still be quite keen to lock that in with a Lulu, any in China, any kind of shielding mechanics to allow that Zeri to pop off and shine. But then the Jarvan, right, came into the meta and has looked really, really strong, especially in Balkan's hands. 100% win rate for that champion. Really expecting to see more of this heavy engage and the mid jungle look to try and steal the show.
Well, I just want to ask a quick question. Poppy, I saw a clip on Twitter during the week where it has a weird interaction, her ult with the Skarner ult.
Yeah.
What's going on there? What am I witnessing?
Yeah, we're witnessing a potential counter pick for competitive league where Poppy ults away the Skarner. Skarner says, "You're coming with me," and so you just can't use your ult as Poppy. So there are actually starting to see a couple of champions that are really good, especially into things like the Silas as well with Talia rising. So it's been an interesting week in competitive around the world.
Very true. I think we did see one Skarner from your boy
Dials?
Dials?
From
It was Poltron, yeah.
Clicking that one up. So maybe there's a world where that happens. Either way, Kitty, can you just hold that for a second?
Yes.
Thank you. It is time for the LCO champion conundrum.
Is today the day luck's with you? Is it now your life could read you? Then you must play the game, cause I have to proclaim life's a game of chance.
We're going to be having a lot of fun today. Thank you, Kitty.
Any pens?
It's time to draw that icon, draw those items. We've done it once before, and we're going to be bringing it back because Kitty wasn't here last time we did it, and apparently she's the artistic one of the group.
Yes,
So
I studied art, so this is my segment once again, hopefully. So let's not hype myself up too much.
okay, let's
Enjoy
You
the
don't have a
disaster.
very hard task to beat us.
wait. So
Terrible.
just so it's fair, because I did enjoy the colours last time. Let's push that cup over to the boys.
Yeah, I got yelled at
gotcha.
for no
Yeah.
colours.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's just black and white, you know, you
we go,
get
lads.
an idea, but I think it's
All right,
bonus
let's-
points for
Hard
colour.
enough to
Put it
draw
at the bottom.
something. to be
Shift, who's
fair.
that? Is that
Zoe.
Zoe? Let's shift Zoe over a little bit.
Big
On the
Z.
ground? Yeah, ground will do.
Big Z.
Anyway, I've got all three here to bring up and I guess read out. We have 30 seconds, only bloody 30 seconds to get this done. So I'm going to have a look, then I'm going to get ready to draw, not be behind the times this time.
What
There
if
you
we're
go.
fighting over the same color?
Sunfire, Aegis. Ready, set, go.
We fight over the colors.
Yeah.
What if we fight over the
I
colors?
actually don't know how to draw this, hey.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we're fighting over the colors.
Yeah, and we're going to fight in a second. I'll just do this, we'll use that one.
I know it's not this, but I'm just going to...
Okay,
You
swap.
want yellow? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Quick.
yes. Okay, okay, okay.
And I think there's like a lot of this going on. And it looks, it looks kind of wrong.
More
but-
colors
Oh no.
for more points.
And
More
we've got 2
colours for more
seconds. I think
points.
we're out of time. That's close enough. Time is
I don't
up.
want to show it.
Ready? I don't either, because mine looks like a face rather than the
We
Anyway,
did like
three.
we did a similar thing.
I
But
know.
we're both so just
Get ready.
tragic. Just let us show
3,
it.
2, 1, go. Yeah, I wasn't that close.
You drew
It was a little-
Leandri's or a Mumu, I'm not sure.
Yep, it definitely did. I knew it was like a shieldy
Yeah, I had no
So,
idea. I just
and
drew a
then it-
cape because
Oh,
I knew
you
it was
can't
that
see the
angle.
colors. Maybe if I
colored it in.
drew the shoulder pads, I knew that much.
thing. What's yours?
I have a
got
little.
the
I have a bit
sapphire
of green
stink
here.
clouds.
Yeah, Kitty's got the
A little
colours.
bit of green.
Kitty's got the colours.
Really
You see
cannot
it?
see yours.
The orange
so hard with the
Can you
colours.
see the green?
That looks like
It looks like a plant.
an orange that has sprouted.
Well, I'm not going to say who
True.
won.
It
does,
does.
it
Production,
It
can I
does.
have the
It
answer?
does.
Because I think we all failed.
Kitty's got the
miserably in this one.
colours correct. I'll give her that.
Production needs another second to decide who won. Not mine.
I'd honestly say Skimmy's the closest.
Surely.
Skimmy got the
Yeah.
fire going on.
Surely I got the fire and the shoulder
Oh
pads.
yeah, it's pretty good.
How are we feeling?
This is obviously being hotly debated.
We can. We have 2 winners in a tie. It's the 2 in the middle. We sucked at
No,
Zach.
no,
but,
that's
like,
fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
I wasn't really happy with my
I would have
team
been
there.
shocked if I won.
Also, my colours, like, the yellow kind of looked like a like a
The yellow smudge with the black, so
Yeah.
it's kind of just like a
Yeah.
I just drew
dusty
a
If in
gold.
doubt,
and
eh?
the orange was like real tan,
whole
not like
other
that,
person.
not like a
Demacia.
vibrant orange that I was kind of
Yeah.
Going
expecting.
with like a very pale orange.
Anyway,
DeMuglio.
ooh, there's a little bit of foam. Kitty, do you want to get the next one?
Where is the next one?
Well, you'll have to rip that bit of paper off. Show everyone at home. The second
My
one.
nails are too long. Anyways. Oh my god, I saw the first word.
Moonstone
Let's
Renewer.
go, boys!
There you
No,
go.
but what does that even look like?
Oh,
man? What does that even look like? I literally do not know.
It's like something like this.
That's a toilet bowl.
It is.
You cannot change my mind.
I don't know, bro.
is that grey? I don't know if we've got the colours, so I'm just gonna wing it. That's yep.
This is my worst drawing to date.
I'm looking at Kitty's because she definitely knows, and mine is nothing like Kitty's. Time's up. No, I got to squiggle. Ready? Ooh. Wait, no, I'm going to put green on the couch. I'll get in trouble if I do that. 1 second.
Hey, but did I get
Ready?
the colours? I
Three.
did, yeah?
2,
There's green.
Yeah, I did!
1, go. Can you guys see?
What's that?
You're fishing on a moon.
Yeah, you know the dude that's in movie trailers?
DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
Yeah,
been
That's
too
just the
many
DreamWorks
circles.
guy.
I drew 3 circles.
I was too busy laughing at Skimmy's toilet bowl.
I also drew 3 circles just around each other. So
What's
Wait,
it?
let's hold it to
I got the green in the
like
middle.
this.
You can't really. It does
Like
not look
this,
green on this
yes.
screen, but that's supposed to be green.
I
Okay.
can confirm there is.
And there's a little bit of yellow with a moon, hence the moonstone
I
renewer.
drew a moon as
It's
well.
very hard to see the colours, hey?
Mm.
Yeah. At least production did confirm they can see the colours.
Well, that's very good.
So you
We
know,
can't see, we're blind.
We're not stranded
Agreed.
out here. Do we have a clear winner,
I
production?
feel like I can't lose.
Okay. Well, no surprises for the big fat dub. It's Kitty. Congratulations.
Yeah, valid.
Oh,
I drew 3 circles though, so.
It's rigged, it's
3 more
rigged.
than me.
Oh, definitely rigged.
Looks of it.
All right, let's give it a
What
white.
did you draw? DreamWorks, yeah. Okay, bro.
Did
Okay.
you just see
Did
it?
you only just see
I
it?
wasn't even looking at yours, eh?
Cap for the yellow.
I missed
You
it.
goose.
Play-by-plays, man.
Oh, yeah.
Can't trust them.
Oos. All right, put them back down there. Let's get number 3.
Might
Is
get
it
one.
Oh, it's here.
I've never drawn items.
No,
I don't even really know what items look like.
I just
ever.
purchased them.
Yeah.
I
Ready?
just buy them.
Third one.
Shopkeeper.
What does it say? Imperial Mandate.
Oh, it's actually rigged for support.
You'd think I would know
Support
these,
gang.
wouldn't you? You'd think. It is.
Oh no, why did I decide to do that? Why did I think using my finger to smudge it was a great idea?
Oh, I'm not actually using colours. Colours are bait.
Yeah, color's a bait.
Okay, well, I just did the entire thing in a color, so I've been baited.
Colour's not a bait.
I don't know what else to draw from this.
No, time is
time
not
is
up.
apparently up right now. Not 2 seconds ago. Ready? 3, 2, 1, bam. Oh, it's definitely not a flag.
Oh.
I remembered it
Whoa.
That's really
mentally
good,
as a
Mac.
flag.
Wait, Mac's actually pretty good.
But it's not what it is though.
It's not a
drew
flag.
dog ears.
Everyone
Mine's a
drew
blank
the
canvas.
Maybe in comparison to everyone else's, it
That's
actually
bad
is
of
close.
command, bro. Get out of here.
I got the wrong one.
I just drew a banner with what I thought was the symbol, and
Oh
it
my
was
God.
not the right symbol.
Same.
Maybe this time Mac's like use of the color actually
Yeah.
helped him.
Well, the red shows up
Mm-hmm.
on at least this screen really well, so we can see the color. Guess what? Guess who won? I won.
Is it you?
I won.
It's a dub.
That's why I'm excited, guys. Congratulations, me. Yes, everyone clap. I clap for you. You got to clap for me when I win. Thank you. Oh my God. 1 from 3 is not too bad. Hey,
bad.
Kitty, you won though because you
This
got
is
2
the
out of
winner's
3.
couch.
Congratulations. It is time
Back
to
to the
move
league
on though.
questions,
I hope
please.
you guys enjoyed this arts and crafts. You know, well, no, not much crafts, but you know, arts and.
Ask the other couch
Lots of
how to build a
arts.
Zonia's
Drawing.
hourglass.
But it is time to move on to
True.
From the Fans. You guys at home, we wanted to hear what your favorite arena food is because we want to know what you're excited to eat, especially going in towards the DreamHack time of year. So, I'm thinking hot dogs every day of the week, or hot dogs or chippies. And I think we have a few submissions as well. So let's have a look at what you guys have been sending in on the Twitter sphere, at LCO on Twitter, by the way, to get involved in the conversation. Because I know you like eating, and JB, he loves nachos.
Can we talk about his name?
I don't, is that what the picture is? Am I just guessing that, or did some? See, I need a story behind that.
JB will tell us.
JB, please, next time you submit, because you submit all the time and you're an absolute legend, tell us the story of your name, and we can put that on from the fans, even if it is an arena
Or
food.
just change to
We have
50-year-old
one more to have a look at quickly. What do we have? Sarah Moss, Mabinogi Casts. Did I say that right? I think so.
Sauces?
HSP.
Mabinogi, yeah.
What
Do you reckon,
sauces?
could you get HSPs in an
I
arena?
don't feel like it's...
Maybe it's like
You must
maybe
be
at like,
going to a good arena for
I
that
think
to
at
be
like
the...
festivals, you'd probably say there's like there'd be a kebab truck somewhere, and you
Sure.
could probably
Yeah.
get that. But I don't know about
Never
actual
had a
arena
HSP
food.
in
Either
an
way,
arena.
Neither, eh?
great choice, great selection. Sorry, I decapitated myself for a second. It is time though to start talking shop. It's time to have a chat with you, Skimmy, Rogue and Tally as well about the match of the week.
We call it match of the week, but it's looking more like a heavyweight bout as an undefeated Chiefs come up against what should be their #1 contender in Pensnet.gg.
Out goes the Magnet Storm, there is the Cannon Barrage. Massive wombo on top of everybody's head so far as Balkan just removes voice from the equation. Drag back onto Biosan, Kudo's looking for kills from Raze. Puma jumps into the pit looking for the 1v1. Raze is removed and from the game. Raze has got a triple kill.
It happened in Week 9 last split where Pensnet.gg ended the Chiefs' 14-game win streak, and it can only be called fate that they would face each other again in Week 9.
Chiefs are overrated. If there's any team that Chiefs are scared of, it's us. I think if they're ever going to fall, they know it's now.
So this is probably like the last hurdle we have for like our 21-0 streak, and this matchup is the finals because it feels like whoever wins that series wins the region. But I think they're the second best team right now.
I hate the idea of Chiefs having an undefeated season. I hate it. I can't stand it. For us, it's personal.
You got a Pensnet.gg finding form once again. Balkan, he's looking sharp, and Predav, 10 on the Jinx against Order. The bot lane is going to be where that magic comes from. The Chiefs, they're stacked, but Pensnet are keen to try and stop that.
The idea of having this Chiefs vs Pensnet finals rematch on this big stage with the crowd, with these insane moments, these insane base races, this gets me so excited. I think the fans deserve this.
It's a battle at the top of the table as first and second fight it out to see who can reign supreme. It's a flashback to that intense, greatest best of 5 that OS has ever seen. It's high octane gaming. You don't want to miss it.
Main takeaway from that: Rogue thinks Chiefs are overrated.
And
Big
can't
words.
stand
I
it.
can't stand it.
And he
Can't
can't
stand
stand it. Very well. Either way, look, let's start talking shop. Let's get into the action. Let's talk about the Chiefs, the undefeated team who are looking to make it continue on forward. And today, Skimmy, I think, it's going to be a tough one.
It will be a tough one. This team is absolutely stacked across the board. Their KDAs, their entire roster, are the highest in the entire league. 18 games in, Raze has only died 20 times. I mean, that's phenomenal. Even after the same as well, 20 deaths. I mean,
Yeah.
they just don't die. They farm up all the kills. Been flawless to date.
They certainly have. PGG, at least for last week, have been flawless, really starting to turn into that butterfly. Spread the wings, so to speak. Rusty, tell me, how are they going to win today? Is it through Yuri again? Because he's been popping off.
I feel like it needs to be a culmination of all of Pensnet.gg playing their best if you're really going to take down the Chiefs. I don't think it can just be one individual person going large. You've seen big games from Praetor, but he had the team surrounding him. For me, looking at Chiefs versus PGG is primarily around how the whole team coordinates for objectives, knowing that your opponents are going to take early fights. If you can get through that ahead, then you are probably poised to actually just get the win.
Now, Kitty, give me your thoughts. What's going on in that bot lane? Because we've got Aladoric up against Rogue, and that is a big matchup because we've enjoyed what Rogue's brought to the table, but no one has been able to stand up alongside Aladoric so far this split.
Yeah, so what I really enjoy about the Chiefs bot lane is that Aladoric can make those kills happen in lane, and then he just roams and impacts the entire map as well, while Raze is still farming and scaling on those early game ADCs where he is still able to get ahead. Meanwhile, on PGG, we do see Predator kind of backing onto the hypercarry ADCs that we've seen from 2021. And I think it has been working out a lot better for PGG because we did see Predator actually pop off on that Aphelios, I believe. So it is an angle, but if Predator can maybe tune out Raze's aggressiveness in that early game, it could be a potential dub for them.
I could see that one happening, especially since, last week was sort of Praet's best week this split so far. Now, look, 2-0 to Chiefs, so we're not playing for that head-to-head today. Chiefs might be able to make that 3-0, or PGG can hit back and ruin the Chiefs' perfect split. But for me, where we are right now, I think PGG, this is just going to be their form test. Even if they lose today, how close can they get? Because I want to see what they're looking like going towards playoffs.
I mean, that's why we can call this a grand finals preview. That's why it is our match of the week, right? Like, expectations are that this was the two super teams starting the year. This should be the two super teams facing each other in the finals, and that's why we should be able to watch this match, see it be closer, regardless of result, and get excited for what could be prospectively the finals at DreamHack.
Okay, now a matchup that we wanted to highlight here as well is the mid-jungle. There has been a big conversation about mid-jungles and all these teams, but we feel like that is the position to, not mid-jungle, sorry, jungle supports and how they roam together, because Arthur and Aladoric are pretty much the best in the business in the LCO, but how are Balkan and Rogue sort of working things out?
So I just want to quickly caveat this with what Kitty said before as well about Aladoric's roaming. That is something that we see a bit less of from Rogue. He tends to move with Praedyth if they move.
Yeah.
The difference between Aladoric roaming and other supports in our league is that he roams with a reason. Right, he actually has a plan. He doesn't just roam because he's free on the map, which is what most supports tend to do. And he tends to be proactively setting up and making plays. And a big part of that success is that he has Arthur around in his pocket, ganking bot lane level 2, which he did the last whole week, to allow that to happen sooner. And then they just get unleashed on the map. So they're such a dangerous duo when they're both free to move.
And they both generally have a relatively high KP, but I'm looking at Balkan and he seems to be the business for PGG, doesn't he?
Yeah, we need to clarify that Balkan's champion pool, the third one, is Viego, Wukong, and Jarvan, but he has 3 champions that are all tied, so that's why we have that graphic there. But I think Balkan, with his champion pool being so diverse, it could be something that can surprise Arthur, because we do know that Arthur likes to just stick to his normal champion. We did see Nocturne one time. Was it against PGG?
The first time, yeah, Nocturne last time.
Yeah. So, might catch us by surprise.
Certainly might. Now, someone that always catches us by surprise, especially with his opinions on Chiefs, is actually Rogue. And we've got him for the pre-match. Quickly, Rogue, we heard from you just a minute ago in the Match of the Week video. Do you want to elaborate on why Chiefs are overrated?
I can't stand it.
Well, some people quote great people in our times, right? Some people quote Gandhi, you know? Some people, there's legends. I like to quote a man named Carbon. He's quoted as saying, "I hate the Chiefs," and I need to channel that myself. If I want to beat the Chiefs, I need to learn from the greatest Chief Destroyer of all time.
True. Brownie
Carbon
points.
is the greatest Chief Destroyer from all time. And from our previous interviews with the Chiefs, they have been saying that PGG is the scariest team out of all the remaining teams, where you guys have really promising results in scrims. So will this translate onto the stage today?
I mean, if you look at our match versus Order last week, it did exactly that. We translated it to stage. I mean, we've been probably with the best team in the league in scrims by a mile for a few weeks now. And last week we came out, took it out, showed that, continue the form, and we'll look good going in. But I think best of ones is a bit scary, and that's why we don't always show that what we have from practice, but come finals, come best of fives, it'll show in the series, right? You drop one game, it's whatever. We got 3 more, and we'll make it happen.
Well, where's the ceiling? That's what I want to know. Are you reaching your stride? Are you all the way there, or is there still some room for improvement, even though you're showing off what you have?
I don't know, how far can we go in Worlds? That's the question, Mac. You'll have to wait about 2 months to find out.
Ooh,
There's your answer,
Worlds.
mate.
Well, hopefully we do get to see PGG at Worlds and even at DreamHack, because I'm sure we all want to see you at the couch once again, Rogue. So best of luck in your match, and
I know you have a favorite team.
hopefully we see you in the host game. I've been called out.
All right, see you guys.
See you later. Put on the spot, huh? How you feel?
I've been called out. Well, my favorite team is obviously PGG.
That was a savage Rogue today, I will say.
was
Compared to the
here.
normal happy smiley Rogue, he had some bigger words this time around.
Yeah, it didn't just show us, you know, hey guys, I'm going to tie my tie. Like, how cool is this?
It's true, he
I'm going to
wasn't.
play Yumi and stand on a pillow on my chair or put on heaps of headsets. He's here for business. And it seems like just out the back of that they are very ready to go up against the Chiefs. I want to hear your thoughts in chat. Their fan vote time. tell us how you think this one's going to go. Is it time for the Chiefs to trip and fumble when they've got this perfect win streak rocking? Or are PGG going to continue to turn into the butterfly, flap those wings? Which I did want to ask Rogue about, but there was no real time for the fun, just all serious business with him there. Now, where do we think this one's going to go? Has anyone gone against the... Oh, my Lord.
I
You
wasn't
really
lying.
are their best fan.
I wasn't lying when I said my favorite team is PGG. I went with PGG today because why not? You know, we saw such a good performance from them last week where I actually think that if they're not going to do it today, then maybe we won't even see it for DreamHack, but
Okay.
this is going to be the determining game for
I
the
didn't
rest of
think
the
that
split.
of all people on this couch, you'd be the underdog.
She's thrown us a
story
bone.
believer.
Thank you, Kitty.
Well, she's got space to actually have at
I
least one
actually-
underdog
I
story.
have
She's got
opportunities,
four wins ahead. So it's time for Kitty to have her fun and give us a chance to maybe catch up here in the predictions. What about us? What are we feeling in terms of, that percentage-based thing for PGG? Is it towards like 30% for them to get this dub, or are we thinking it's still like a 90-10 split?
70-30 is a pretty fair
Yeah?
number, I think. Yeah, which, to be fair, that does mean that PGG can win this game. Best of ones are also volatile. The issue that they've been having is translating aggression, presumably, again, is aggression from scrims and playstyle that every team has in scrims to stage, which is very different because everyone slows down more, and they are a fast-paced team. So I think they've been struggling with that transition, playing champions that work in scrims that don't work on stage, play styles that work in scrims that don't work on stage. But last week was a really good example of what they are capable of. So if they continue to improve on that, they can take games off the Chiefs.
Well, what are we feeling like in terms of respect bans? We know for Aladoric, he is not allowed to get his hands on that Rakan, but is there a chance, depending on the sides, that we might see Rogue picking that up so it's like that extra ban, and Rogue's pretty good with Rakan as well?
The one thing I will say is that the last time they played, Chiefs banned away Tarek, and
Yep.
the only person that has played Tarek was Rogue. So potentially there's a world in which you try to spice things up, right, and say that maybe you have your Rakan, but we've got a good answer towards it. I'm curious.
We saw Tarek last week, right, in that order game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did really good as well.
So maybe there's a chance for that one to slide in, or was that some cards shown? Anything else spicy that we've seen internationally that could just be thrown in the mix here?
Bring back Rise. Tally's going to do it. That's what he played back in the day.
Rise again.
Just hit him with the QE ult
QE Alt F4, baby. Let's go.
That's what you love to see. Now, Kitty, who do you think is going to be the big carry this game? Who's going to be the Giga Chad of Chiefs?
Giga Chad of Chiefs. I think Tally has actually been stepping up. He did say that Yuri is also a really good mid laner in the LCO. So
Yeah.
I think mid lane will be the most volatile lane where they can affect the other lanes as well, because we do know that they both like playing very roaming styles. Like we have we have Tally playing a lot of global champions, and then Yuri is just kind of nuts, and he just plays around those objectives and he just carries every single fight.
Well, guess what? It is time to jump on into the match of the week. The first game of the damn week. It's time for Champ Select.
Thank you much there, Mac and Kitty. Yes, let's jump into this one and see how things kick out. Chiefs on the blue side start things off with a Talia first pick, much like we've been seeing, say, LEC and LCS.
LPL's also got like 25 games on the pick as well on this patch, so there's been a whole lot of Talia. The interesting thing there is that Talia is currently 6-1 win record against Sylas, but they still banned the Sylas away. Senna is the most banned champion by the Chiefs so far this split. It's like 40%. They are still going to take that away from Pentanet.gg, who looked very good with it last week in their first game, with Praetus being a hyper-aggressive carry version of the Senna. So the Talia will get locked in first here. Immediately, you'll see a Lucian Nami to round out the Chiefs' first 3 picks. Always assume Talia is going to be going mid lane, not going to be jungle. It's possibly flexed, yes, and Balkan is the person who'll do that, perhaps, not so much Arthur. PGG on the other side here, Gangplank is their first pick, which is always going to work. It has one of the highest win rates against Gnar, but again, interestingly, is just banned away from Topoon. But the Alistar to come in with the Aphelios, I'm a massive fan of this. Showing the Lucian Nami opens you up to an immediate support, aggressive pick for lane. Aphelios isn't always the most aggressive, right? Like, it's not a Tristana, but Purple Weapon Aphelios can be hyper-aggressive. Alistar is so volatile that a winning jungle matchup, which is being held right now, is a good sign for PGG's draft.
And this is the second time we'll see an Alistair, and one that was played a whole bunch by Rogue when he played in the LFL last year. So when he made his return back home to Australia, we thought, would we ever get to see this? And well, thankfully for us, that is going to be one way to try and shut down the Lucian Nami, really finding that aggressive tempo, right? The ability to just dash at you and try and one-shot you. Maybe the idea of going for a first strike Lucian's off the cards
And
now.
it's really clear that these teams have been practicing and scrimming against each other, right? The fact that Silas has been banned away, that it enables an Alistar first 3 was probably a strategy that PGG were hiding from knowledge that they'd gained in practice. That's just what it feels like with their preparation coming into the stage games today. A lot of attention towards Topoon here as well, really trying to narrow the champion pool in top lane to deal with this gangplank that can still be a carry champion. Because now Topoon's looking at more like, I guess, a cannon, right? Like
Sure.
in terms of carry champions that he'll default to, where otherwise it may just be a tank. You might just have a Sejuani, which puts more of an emphasis. This is actually a very unique carry to him as well, which would have put a lot more emphasis on Arthur carrying, which you don't often see. Like, he does carry, but he's not the carry.
No, absolutely. And does wonder, or does make us wonder at least, where he will go with this direction, right? We're going to get the hybrid, the Taliyah and the Wukong. So 2 knockups to try and lay down the law and really interrupt the combos that Pentanet have got so far with their setup. But will it be that Vladimir that they hovered? Will they really enable the fact that we will have this hyper late game scaling, AP Mage with the Hemo Plague just to run amok and really trying to dodge all that CC that PGG have put together so far?
I guess my question here is Yuri going to go for something like an Azir into this Taliyah matchup, right? If we assume Vladimir, as it has been seen now, is confirmed. Lee Sin and Gangplank means it has to be a magic damage mid lane champion. Ahri, Akali, Silas all taken off the board. Swain's been banned away by PGG themselves as well. So your options do start to feel like Azir, Corki, Victor types of champions. Yuri can play most of those. He could also do something crazy like a Kassadin, seeing double mages in solo lanes. Galio as well, but it lacked damage. Ryze is in fact the path. Skimmy's called this one early. So we're going to have a fairly tanky mid laner, still with the main purpose of roaming, right? It matches the Taliyah's ability to move around the map just a little bit better than a lot of other champions right now.
And it just does, it feels like a bit of a throwback to how these teams would have played earlier on, when everything was all about the Twisted Fate, the Silas, the Galio, the Ryze, just any ability for them to be omnipresent. What really stands out for me is we did see Yuri, even when he played the likes of Yoni mid, he would just hard push the wave, permanently roaming, looking to try and make plays elsewhere, and this certainly enables that. You got that guaranteed short-range route in the mid lane. Lee Sin, or rather, Balkan's going to have a very easy time then linking up and trying to really snowball their advantage.
Not just Yona, but Yasuo as well. He did some roams, right, with the Dyna. They ganked top lane together, which is very unusual, but was wildly successful. And I guess the big thing here as well, for both teams, now the compositions are done, Skimmy, is that we have to look at where the scaling points are for them, right? Because Lucian Nami is more about the early aggression. For the Chiefs, and that's going to be really a big point of focus here. You'd expect Arthur to still put effort, attention towards the bottom side of the map. Vlad is meant to be just isolated scaling, right? Wants experience, wants items as fast as possible, but so does Gangplank.
Yeah.
I think the difference here is that Aphelios wants to scale a little bit more, and so may need to be protected. And that's where Lee Sin and Ryze come into the conversation, because they are now having to deal with the Taliyah, dealing with a Wukong, and if that skirmishing doesn't go well for them, Ryze notoriously not doing much damage at the moment. Lee Sin can, but has the Taliyah to deal with. If that goes awry, then PGG might start to lose a lot of their early entry into this game. And so they might lose out on scaling options that they have to be very careful about.
I imagine you're looking also at level 6 being a huge break point, right? The fact that if they were to try and force a fight, especially in that bot lane, to get the Aphelios ahead a little bit earlier and look to try and shut down the solution. You got a Cannon Barrage for the dive, you got a Realm Walk to basically force the entire team to be there and share the wealth around them to try and really bridge that gap and say your comp is already invalid. But there it is for one more time. A quick reminder, a lot of those targeted bans, a lot of picks that were really allowing us to reach this point. You can see that there's a fair bit of inspiration drawn from the global region as to what they feel like is the strongest coming into Week 9.
And until otherwise proven, this is starting to look like a Grand Finals rematch here, right? A DreamHack preview potentially on the line between Pentanet.gg and the Chiefs.
Well, let's waste no more time then. Let's load in for the very first game of the day. It's Match of the Week nonetheless. And it is that age-old question, will history repeat itself? Chiefs had a 14-game win streak at this very time back in Split 1, and Pentanet were the team to end it. We'll have a man on the line that may just have the answers to see if they can just do that. Chippies, what do you reckon?
Sup, G. I would say if there's any team that's going to end their win streak, it's definitely us.
Well, it's looking like the stakes are there. But just tell me about that draft. There was so many sort of exchanges back and forth for the Silas being banned away. Is that what just really early on opened up the likes of an Alistar, for instance?
Yeah, I'd say because Yuri's the best Silas, we've had it banned against us a lot, so Jake's been experimenting with the blind Alistar, and this game we didn't have to blind it, but you know, it's been working quite well.
And on a quick final note then, would you say this is your best chance with the current form you're in? It's feeling a lot more akin to what you mentioned about translating scrims into stage performance.
I'd say we're not quite there yet. We're almost. We're planning to peak for finals, but I'd say we have a very good chance of winning today, despite that.
Beautiful. All right, Jibbies, want to leave you to it, mate. Always a pleasure. Wish you boys the best of luck.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
Always good to hear from Chippies. A couple of things that have happened in the early stages of this game, Skimmy, is that first and foremost, Vision has basically seen where the Chiefs are. They've swept the Vision. However, you can see they've got a zombie ward down there as well. Pressure does belong to Illusion and Anami level 1 in this lane. There is not much that an Alistar can do besides a flash pulverize. And if that is the case, you're fully committed to the cause, and Raze might just be able to kill you, especially when you've got the Glacial Augment as your rune of choice. In saying that, at level 2, they do obviously have the full combo threat, but they've leashed. And it's also, I think, been perceived that the Chiefs leashed as well. Award will now confirm that regardless. Arthur about to be spotted. The interesting point here, though, for bottom lane while we are looking at it, is that you would expect a lot more roaming from an Alistar. You would expect a lot more map movement from an Alistar, but can you do that when you're constantly pressured by Illusion and Nami? Because this is similar to what we said at the start of the day, where it feels like Praedyth and Rogue roam together more often than not. This is almost opposites in terms of styles.
Yeah, it would be a risk, right? Obviously, because Press the attack and Electrocute can pack a fair bit of a punch. Yes, Praedyth himself is running the exhaust, so wouldn't be under maybe as much threat otherwise, but there is no cleanse there for Raze. Lucian tends to run that one, so can't cleanse that exhaust off, but he has got that combat summoner to try and live a little bit longer and try and be a bit of a menace elsewhere.
Ignite is there for Topoon. If Winter hits 3, I think the dive is undoable because of the oranges, but dive's happening.
The dive is going on right now. Topoon just jumps into that blood pool and is not going to fall victim to that one, but here comes Balkan. He's got the flash and the Sonic Wave lands, and that's an instant 1-for-1.
Yeah, Balkan does well to make sure that it is in fact just a 1-for-1. Winter is going to be able to teleport back towards top lane. Will catch some of the minions, but does ultimately die and not get experience for that transaction. Well, it's been bubbled.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. He's just gone. Rogue, a tank as he may be. He's looking for the second. He can't cleanse the exhaust. Is he going to die underneath turret? Oh, he's so low. The minions are hurting. Aladoric can't do much about it, and Yuri's got the inline track. Aladoric snipes it, but he's going to fall on down to turret aggro, and Yuri's going to miss one of those, but he's just going to buy his time.
He can't get it.
Oh, no, he's flashed the wrong way. Raze.
He's going to die to the turret.
He's denied himself.
I cannot believe he just got executed. There is no way that he just got executed. Like 16 different animations got cancelled by Yuri. He's flashed the wall.
Oh no.
And he got nothing from it but a bit of experience. And I'm sure Ray's just laughing to the bank with the 2 kills in his Nami's pocket from a successful dive.
You really can't ask for much better than that from the side of the Chiefs. A 2v2, even though it was prolonged, you've burnt double summoners and time, farming, XP and gold. And Yuri's found nothing.
And a really well executed dive top lane is what kicks all of this off, right? Knowing that Winterer on his gangplank went for Q then E as his points that he leveled, he was missing the ability to heal in the first place by having the oranges, can't remove any scurvy. And they get the dive at level 2, looking mid as well.
Looking for Yuri, who doesn't have the flash after burning it earlier, but it's not going to be enough to find lethal just yet. Level 6 will be that major break point. I'm curious about some of the interactions between this Taliyah and, say, a Lee Sin and an Alistar. Looking to try and find that engage. If the minefield goes down, instantly stunned.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit harder to be the Alistar for sure. Makes it very difficult to make combos happen as a Lee Sin if the workaround is there. We saw this from Peace last week when they were playing into the Taliyah that Mammoth picked. Very difficult for the Na to find engage angles, right? But for what it's worth, it is just a stun, and Alistar can use the headbutt, stun himself, and then can actually ult anyway and get out of that one. Lee Sin's mobile enough to work around the worked ground, and Taliyah tends to use it pretty aggressively at the start of her combos, right? Where most of the damage afterwards is just littering Q down. So the thing that people get very caught up in, and I think it's really important to state this one early, is that Taliyah doesn't counter Lee Sin and Alistar. It makes it harder to execute, but you don't stop picking dash champions because Taliyah was locked.
Oh, the headbutt bomb goes out, and Rogue's looked for that one with the flash on through. He's just dead inside of one big bubble. The Aqua Prison was his undoing, but there's the flux and the stun afterwards as they look to try and answer back, but the bodies are there. And if there is the overload, it's not enough to take out Arthur. Far out, that was close.
Balkan looking to dash away. You could see the Talia was starting to move down here, so they weren't going to be able to over-exert themselves in the dive attempt.
Just quietly, Aladoric 3 kills.
Greedy Guts over here is 3 of the 4 kills, 75% of it. Arthur will manage to get 1 for himself, at least from the dive top lane, but anytime the kills happen with a Nami on the screen, he's picked it up. The big thing there as well is you like what PGG just tried to do, but they baited themselves in. And speaking of, Balkan, you've never seen someone so patient.
Oh, they've spent so much time looking for this one. Great dash away, but the follow-up afterwards. The Tempest, the bubble misses. Doesn't really matter. Predator trying to get in range to find that Gravitum. He's going to find it on towards the Nami. Rogue once more, but no, they answer back. The most fed Nami you'll ever see. Finally loses the bounty, but it's a 6 minutes Imperial.
He finished his Mythic before 7 minutes as a support.
That has to be a new record.
An extra 1,200 gold in the pockets, well before any solo lane is going to finish a full item, to say the least. It's a cheap item, yes, but geez, that is a fed Nami. And if that's a fed Nami, that's a fed Lucian, because he's got his Imperial Mandate done. The audacity of the Chiefs to get a kill or an advantageous outcome in every situation is just unbelievable.
This bot lane really is delivering at the moment. But we are peeking ahead into top lane once again, squaring up the possibility of another dive just the way that game found that first blood. Arthur doesn't have ult. He needs a lot more minions before he finds it. But down goes the Cannon Barrage, trying to trim that wave. That's the heal.
And
that's the chaos again! Aladoric, stop!
The least necessary W. Can someone stop this fish?
And now's a good time that I'll get his stats. And that K portion, it says 1 at the moment.
And not anymore.
Completely inflated now.
Average kills are now well up. We're only 7 minutes into this one. You know what's funny? A lot of people will say this, and of course this is my support brain talking, of giving support all the kills is a bad thing, and that's generally true, because you want to have accelerated items on your carries, but the advantage of the Nami having the 4 kills, maybe not that 5th one, is that Imperial Mandate is a massive item spike, and it amplifies the damage of everybody that you're healing or shielding, so there is immense value in that, but from here Aladoric shouldn't get 1 more.
Bubble goes out once again, on towards him. Oh, Rogues is dead! He's going to find Tally in a second, but Raze guarantees that he gets that kill. The Imperial Mandate doing wonders, as you mentioned. A seismic shot back into that minefield. There is the constant shards bolting them down as they're really trying to bully out the side of Pentanet that stole away the red buff successfully.
Predator is just going to recall in the bush. Aladoric might consider having a look. And does find one.
Yeah, he's got the red and white, so a lot of damage in close quarter combat like this one. But Aladoric, so accelerated, is not going to fall victim to that just yet. The Cyclone goes out. There is R2. Yuri, 1 more bonk to the head and a flash after. Panicking there for a second. And now a real window to try and target that lane again.
And you will see constant fighting right now. Pentanet.gg are known to be an aggressive early game team. They love a skirmish. They love a fight. Like we said from draft, they have the champions that want to be roaming, that want to be active. The Alistar and the Lee Sin want to work together. The Ryze wants to roam. Praedyth is 1 HP right now. And through all of this roaming, because the Chiefs have found leads, they will take every fight on.
And that was the concern you raised before. If Rogue would go for a roam, what would happen? Well, he survived on 10 health. The numbers really were as clutch as they come down to. I think when we checked in with the total gold, Praedyth was actually farming on pace with Aladoric, right? They traded out the Drake for the Herald, but he acquired so many of those turret plates. If we check in again, he's not far behind at all.
Someone take a screenshot and just say support is an unbalanced role, because you're so right. But it's mostly because he has all the kills this time around. Praedyth's trying his best. And while Raze is maybe 13 gold, 300 down, an Imperial Mandate proc equalizes that gold diff at any time, really. Chief's still well and truly in the driver's seat in this game. 3,000 overall, 10 minutes in. Very happy, sitting extremely pretty. High chance that this snowballs out of control, especially with the first mythic purchases of the respective carries of the Chiefs roster.
Interesting to see where that does come from, because right now mid lane has been firing up an absolute storm. Either way, trying to keep up pace there for 10 CS per minute, as really has been their tradition this entire split long. Mr. Consistent. Saying that, Winter has had 2 very phenomenal weeks, and you are looking at him being targeted for that good reason.
Yeah, Winter, I mean, Gangplanks get this a lot. Like, oftentimes you'll pick GP and think, I can't be dealt with very easily. You can. You absolutely can. You're not a strong champion until you are a very strong champion. So 0-2 is almost par for the course. That's what you get for picking a blind.
Fight goes out. Yuri's going to teleport all the way from base to their turret. Good sidestep on that one, Predator. Carling needs 1 more auto. Aladoric, that's number 6. The supports are fed beyond belief, and now Rogue, he's got the indomitable will. He flashed across the wall, but he's still dead. The bot lane Lucianami is just popping off.
Yeah, they've got themselves 8 kills between them. And there is 9 kills in the game for the Chiefs. They are having a very nice time down in bottom lane. Yuri is going to feel immensely pressured by 4 people strong of the Chiefs being in the area. And even a Lee Sin not going to be enough to help them defend the turret. So they will just continue to amass greater and greater leads. They'll get themselves some turret plates. Looking for a pretty solid base you would expect after this next wave is collected. Probably for a mythic purchase is okay.
We are on. They really want this one. Somebody Hill goes out to get some space. And
I want that shutdown.
That's the Sonic Wave on towards Aladoric, who's underneath his turret. You're not getting that shutdown. And Pentanet now spent the best part of 2 minutes hard forcing a play, but Chiefs have read them every step of the way.
Yeah, they're very hard to kill. They're very difficult to kill, to say the least. But still, try as PGG might, just not getting what they're after. Top is doing really well for Top Boon, and because Bot is surviving, they're also the ones with shutdowns. There's 600 gold on the line for taking out just Aladoric. We'll see this fight one more time, dash away. Raze really wanted to avoid taking any damage, give any kind of entry point to them, but at the same time, Aladoric is just an absolute staunch monster. He's not going to let them get away with their lives intact. Bottom again.
We're back in again. Everybody getting knocked up by the clone of the Wood King. He flashes in and bonks him down. Predator dead again. In comes Sunny with the Weaver's Wall, working his rotation phenomenally. Yuri's not here, and Pentanet just don't have the numbers. And it's another kill on the bot lane, and now 9 shed between the 2 of them.
And this just comes back to, again, conceptually, when you look at both of these teams and compare this split to even the last one, Chiefs are all early game aggression. They're so focused on winning early. They just think, you know, it is harder to play, but if it's successful, you just win the game outright, and they still have scaling options in their draft. PGG have always been notoriously about the early game themselves. That's what we've always said for them to be. And when 2 teams that are focused on the early game meet, things like this are bound to happen. And the end result is all of the kills that Pentanet.gg were after have gone awry, and it goes from bad to worse.
Culling goes out, raises dash, and he's being kicked into his teammate with the Dragon's Rage. That's the shutdown. Balkan finds it. Goes for the smite on the Dragon, buy himself a little bit of HP and a little bit of time, but it's another kill found. And Tally secures it. The bubble goes out. Aladoric with the Gravitum and the Moonlight Vigil on his head is saying, please team, back me up. They're wrapping around and come on through. Another shutdown found. That's a lot of gold that Pentanet have just picked up. But now it's alone of Philios at level 8. That can't do much about this. Arthur gets the double.
Yeah, an inevitable death there for Praedyth. No flashes for both Yuri and Praedyth during that skirmish as well. Belkan does well to make sure the initial pick does happen. And also note that after that fight fizzles out, both mythics were done for the solo carries of PGG. So they were fighting at an item disadvantage, but they found an angle, and there were shutdowns on the line. So full credit to them. While they lose the objective, and while it feels like a losing skirmish for them overall, and it obviously is, they get a lot of necessary money into their pockets to get some items. It starts with a pick. Yuri takes a lot of damage. Belkan secures the kill and has to smite immediately just to survive for a little bit longer. Rogue's always going to die here because they have no ults from the prior skirmish. And then really they just see the fish and they're like, well, I mean, it would be rude not to collect 600 gold before we die. So they overcommit themselves to it, and this is what happens. I still think it was good from PGG. All things considered, still bad, but I think it was good from them.
Well, it is gold claimed, but it is still a monumental uphill battle here as they are down 6,000 gold, and Chiefs just picked up that Dragon to prevent an early soul point, are working their way now to their second Herald of the game. More gold for them to play around, only 15 minutes in, and the game's already said that Pentanet need objective bounties, and that's going to be claimed in the bot lane by Yuri.
So a couple of things here as well that I think is a positive for PGG overall is that Yuri's always been the first to place, has been moving more successfully, I would say, than Tally, and has been keeping up even in farm. So all things considered, PGG have found themselves a moving unit of mid-jungle. They've been working with their support player, which is the lane where you want to see them, or the person that you want to see them rallying around. It's just the tragedy is that whenever it happens, it's always in a losing situation, or the Chiefs just break some ankles or break some necks.
Yuri's done a number here. He's worked his way to getting 2 turrets in 1 siege. That's going to completely stabilize out what the Herald play hopes to achieve. The Hemo play, he's going to go stopwatch. Fantastic play from him. 2 turrets, and he gets out free.
Yeah, really dicey there. At the last moment, the last auto attack will secure it, had the stopwatch, but does mean he won't have a stopwatch for any forthcoming fights. And Winter is sitting on his lonesome inner side lane is able to auto-attack and use his Q more often than not to last hit those minions, get some extra money in his pockets, trying to equalize the game state just a little bit more. And the reality is we have brought it closer to about 5,000 as a result of all of the bounties that PGG have gotten. And that's just what you have to do in a losing game state, right? Ultimately, you are just hunting for shutdowns. So now, you look at the Taliyah, there's 250. You look at the Wukong with no real defensive items, just a lot of health. The 700 gold kill. Definitely set your sights on these players if you can.
There's a lot of money on the map that Pensnet will have an attractive bounty to try and take away and really shore up that distance between the two at this stage. But Chiefs will be looking to answer back. Still have that Herald
coming mid
ready
right now.
to use. That's going to be pushed on through. There's the bubble to disengage away. There's Yuri on the flank with a flash, but no ult. The Herald should go off successfully, but will the fight break out afterwards? That's a two-man tidal wave, and Arthur finds his ticket into the fight. The Weaver's Wall, where you going? Telly looking for the one shot on towards Predator. Seismic shot, the kill, and the bot lane is gone. It's a double again for Arthur, as his Wukong is absolutely unleashed. And I bet you now, Shelly gets a second.
Yuri completely separated from the fight as well. Tries to do as much damage as he can, and admittedly was close to 2 kills, Skimmy, but when it's said and done, the fight goes the way of the Chiefs. The inhibitor falls down in the way of the Chiefs as well, and they're able to get themselves a free reset with a sizable gold advantage, only snowballing further and further ahead.
And that mid lane play completely nullifies all the good work that Yuri had achieved in that bot lane moments prior. Chief says, you can do this, but we can do one thing better. Let's run it back again, because it all starts off with a bubble.
Yeah, it does. It's a nice bubble to force the play. The ultimate here from Nami as well to separate them as the turret drops from the Herald charge. So really nicely timed. Taliyah wall as well, right? Just does a lot of work, puts himself on a flank, pulls Praedyth into the fight, has the utility, the resources to stay alive. Just pulling further and further ahead. That fight was really about individual prowess. They made the call. They knew the fight that they wanted, and they, with no hesitation, executed.
Well, if Arthur was a juicy target before, that bounty now up to 900 gold if you can claim him. Side lane's the focus here for Pensnet, but Winter is in trouble. Instant TP comes out onto that minion wave. Ray's looking for the kill, and Alador there to buff him up with that one. He's got the kill and the tidal wave onto Yuri, who's got the flash, but missed it early game. Can they find the kill this time? There's the root, there's the Summer Heal. The entirety of Pensnet come on through. Balkan's had enough, he's angry. There is the Dragon's Rage, and the Redemption will go on down. Try and buy a little bit of time here as Chiefs wrap around and try and force the numbers advantage.
I really want to give the kill to Yuri.
There's nobody here. Arthur's pushing mid, Tapuna's pushing bot. It's Yuri that gets the double.
Yeah, they find some kills. I mean, that was aggressive from the Chiefs. It was just a two-man unit. Strong, however, of Raze and Aladoric both dying with flashes up because they got stuck playing some Alcove gaming. Tally is in danger, but has the blue trinket to spot them either way, and they're not going to stick around to try and fight him. Their objective was the turret. Chiefs still going to be fighting for the bottom side of the map here, however. It'll be a slow affair. They will still be able to net themselves a fair amount of damage onto this structure. They get more money into the pockets of PGG. This game isn't clean, it isn't perfect. Chiefs still pulling ahead, but Pensnet showing that they can keep up with the pace of this game even when losing.
Certainly aren't falling victim to indecision. They are trading and they are finding their moments to strike. That's another turret that goes their way. 3 turrets to answer back to the 5 that Chiefs have taken so far after protecting that bounty by pushing away the mid and ensuring that those sweepers will need to be answered to. Second Drake now going the way there for the Chiefs. But it all starts by just catching out a lonely GP.
Yeah, and there's a teleport, first of all, from the furthest away member of PGG. Everyone else of their squad was mid. So even choosing to go for this play by the Chiefs is a bit risky. They know with confidence they'll be able to take out Winter, yes, but at the same time, the reinforcements will get here, and they really try to give Yuri this second kill, but Aladoric just dodges a whole bunch of abilities, and it just takes quite a while. Yuri and cancelling animations, name a more iconic duo in this game.
Working wonders for that win rate on the rise right now. But a big win condition, no doubt, for them. If the rise does become big, certainly got a point of strength to try and play it around as a result. 20 minutes in, and the goal league just keeps back and forth, but it is still Chiefs hotly in front.
I think the issue, though, for Pensnet is that they're pretty much stuck on the same screen as 4 members at least, right? Like, at this point in the game, if you have a 1-3-1, you're trying to allocate farm to the Rise or to the Aphelios, they're probably dead. And it is very difficult to protect them with how strong the Chiefs are.
The wave is on. Winter does have the teleport to come down from bot lane if they do desire. They're on towards Rogue, who's popped that ultimate nice and early, has to flash away as well. So he's out the fight. The Baron is there, but do Chiefs feel threatened enough with the GP pushing to start that dance?
And Alistar won't be upset at losing his flash, but losing the ultimate as a 0-7 Alistar without even completing a mythic means that he's just going to be one hit if he looks towards a skirmish. Gangplank ult nice and early here to do some serious damage. Arthur is just going to tank it with his face.
Inhib turret is gone. This is a
in the
dangerous
area.
dance.
If they steal this, this is actually potentially game losing for the Chiefs.
They steal this and then get the inhibitor. They got a TP to end this game. Chiefs are holding this one in suspension,
Balkan's
getting close
right
to the
there.
smite range. It's not being taken by Balkan. Chiefs get it. They need to rush back home to base and defend this one. It's a trade out, really. Winter are putting in a lot of work.
I mean, the fact that that comes down to a 50-50, they just flip the Baron and say, we will take this fight, we will take this trade. So bold by the Chiefs. Wide flank here from Tally, not going to find him. Was looking for the recalling Winter, who just continues to walk the lonely road back to salvation, but will survive.
Pentinet's in here, back up and alive in 10 seconds, expecting Chiefs to plant their members there. A wave about to crash on in, but they got their eyes set on this bot lane first of all.
And the thing with the inhibitor bottom skimmy is that's an avenue to win the game, right? Like taking a full inhibitor basically says one team fight and we can end. And that's why the Chiefs are going to put all of their efforts towards bot. They're not going to give you the space. They're not going to give you the minion wave to push this one. They're going to make sure that they retain control there. Yuri also sitting in a side lane without teleport. Chiefs will probably be staring down a inhibitor in bot.
They'll be looking to answer back and even out those odds as Pentinet continuously putting map pressure down, forcing Chiefs to answer and be the ones in that driving seat. Winter has now just picked up the Prowler's Claw. He's going to one-shot a Squish if he gets a chance to try and strike in that fashion. Midden hit being worked on there by Topoon. Uncontested, they look at him, but they shy away. And they're waiting for that next wave to come on through with the cannons inspired by the Baron, the zoning of the minefield, and the tidal wave for good measure. Will they find the bubble onto Balkan? They do. Arthur forced to hit the clone. The cannon barrage is perfect! Into the exhaust of the Lee Sin! And that means they can't get the bounty to work on. The culling goes out, and Topoon, he hits the Hemo Plague only onto 3. I don't think that's lethal, but it's damn close.
Topoon's been kept at bay by Rogue, who does very well on the Alistar to make sure they don't get aced, but it is still a losing fight. They still lose their jungler, and there is still a Baron buff there from the Chiefs to continue pushing bottom. They have to be careful now. The average health really low.
Oh no, he's head flash into the minefield. Rogue is just gone. That's not the play you want to see. And now Pentinet had to try to finish on 4v5, and Raze is so lucky to be alive right there. Summoner heal, absolutely clutch. They've got what they need. Now just need to run away. They're getting flashed upon as Yuri is keen to try and find this kill. He's going to show a little bit of restraint before they get wrapped on.
Balkan is back alive and is walking here as well. The flick just going to miss from Tally. Chiefs still very much overdue a reset.
Oh.
The Rise is coming in, but he's not going to find anybody. Tally just summons up a couple of rocks. Skimian will get himself out. All right, Drake up in 30 seconds. They do have the inside track, but I don't know if they're strong enough to just stand in a bush and welcome a Chiefs face jack.
So it would be very, very dangerous. Praetor has no summoners, but Raze has a flash and a stopwatch to try and be the massive hero in this one to find that burst to allow the rest of the team to get those one-shots. But it is Yuri, the beacon of hope right now, a lonely Rise at the top of the table, the most fed in this entire game. Raze is going to blast code in and say, how are you to Balkan? Maybe not the target you're after, but they zone them away from this Drake.
And no need to fight this one if you are PGG. You could look for perhaps picks before it starts, yes, but ultimately it's just the third Drake. It is just threatening the Ocean Soul point. So they've given themselves 5 more minutes to work with by getting an early Drake. You know, that is 5 more minutes for Winter to be farming, who has just quietly gone for the Prowler's Claw lethal, or like one hit more style of Gangplank build. Not the most often seen. You've actually in O seen a lot more of the Bruiser GPs running around, but this is very dangerous, right? If it hits, can just wipe carries off the face of the earth. And just looking at the carries really quickly of the Chiefs as well, limited resistances. They have no pure tank on their team. The Vladimir has no armor yet. The Talia has no armor yet. They're very greedy with their builds, and Nami's always going to be one-hittable. So there is always the world where a Miracle Keg from Winter, it just goes absolutely crazy and wipes a team fight. Easier said than done, though, when on the back foot, because you do rely on being positioned correctly early or having the Chiefs face check you.
Arthur is splitting the difference between being a bruiser, a carry, and a tank all at once. He's going to go for the face check here. And realize, hang on a minute, Pentanet are hiding in that bush. We don't want to go there anytime soon, but they are putting all their attention now towards that third and final inhib. As they can slow push this one in, buy their time for the next Drake and for that Baron up in a minute 30.
And I mean, ultimately, Praedyth needs one more item. They're looking for Arthur here.
It's a good collapse, but they've been baited out by that clone. Razor going to entertain it for a second right now. Arthur actually jumping through. That's a massive tidal wave that's not going to hit anybody. Cannon Barrage on top of the Hemo Plague as Tapoon goes into that Sanguine Ball and just gets popped out of it. He's been kicked into his team. Clutch stopwatch. Unbelievable there. He's going to survive just a fraction longer, but Arthur is godlike. 8-1 and that bounty still intact. And now Balkan not there to try and smite, not there to try and be the insect that they need. Perhaps a third and final inhibitor as the Weaver's Wall goes out.
Yeah, there's no wave though, so that Weaver's Wall doesn't actually do a single thing. Next wave going to collapse, but at the same time, PGG been able to get back to base. There's no Baron buff, so there's a chance Winter and Yuri can just one-tap the wave. Chief's still pushing though.
Rogue has flash, but he doesn't have ult. Very squishy, but he could find that headbutt pov that they need to try and isolate a key carry.
So scrappy though, between both teams. Chiefs willing to take the fight head on. PGG not going to back down anytime soon. Yuri having an absolutely fantastic game on this Rise, genuinely trying to carry his heart out. Because he's a Rise, he's not going to be a hyper carry champion, right? He is more the utility off-tank mage. Just machine guns abilities, but isn't going to one-hit too many people. But like I said before, right, there's not a lot of pure tanks on the side of the Chiefs, so he can do work. The big thing I was going to say is I think Praedyth just needs 3 items, right? Get the Infinity Edge online, and the Aphelios could be a genuine carry angle, where right now you're hoping for a Gangplank Keg, you're hoping for a really big pick. Praedyth is a legitimate win con, and he's been farming really nicely still, all things considered.
Certainly has been trading farm for kills, as Raze has found just that. But it feels so dicey. That last Baron went to a 50-50 flip with the pressure going down. Yuri! Unbelievable levels of confidence right there. Cannon Barrage in a choke, and Balkan's just gone for 40 seconds.
Balkan dies for the sins of his mid laner, who just took the most aggressive commit to that recall that somehow succeeded as a tidal wave literally just hits him in the face. He's like, nah, I'm gonna head out. Basically secures the Baron for Chiefs. I don't know if PGG were going to go too hard for this. They might have looked for a steal attempt. You would like, ideally, of course, to try and hit the keg, get some damage down, but all said and done, it was going to be Chiefs Baron to lose, and they will not lose it.
30 minutes in now. 8,000 gold is what separates these two teams as they pick up that second Baron buff and look to really put a bow on it. Both of the inhibitors for the side of Pentanet have respawned. Minion waves in a fairly neutral spot apart from bot lane, which is definitely pushed against them. But the quickest lane to deploy was top lane to continue the good work they've been putting in once again. Out goes another wall.
It's good this time as well, Skimmy, because there is a minion wave here to be collapsed on with. But still, it's going to be thinned out quite nicely. They have got Tapoon.
They have completely isolated him. He's got no tools after this one. He doesn't have a flash. He's got a ghost, and that's up in about 5 seconds. The Sonic Wave goes out, but he's not going to follow Q2. They're trying to do a bit of a 1-4 split with the side of Chiefs. That's the Realm Warp. I don't know if that's the one you want. It gets interrupted by the Cyclone by Arthur. Tidal Wave is absolutely huge. And the entirety of the Pentanet contingency defending top is evaporated. The base is in shambles, and it all starts by trying to catch out the Vladimir, and it ends in a perfect ace.
Yeah, they get baited into the fight. They just try with desperation to fight their way out of every situation. This time around, the Chiefs weather it too nicely, and they'll get themselves a pretty straightforward victory in the end.
What is that? The game as close as it could have been to try and interrupt this perfect win streak. Chiefs now 18-0, and 1 foot closer to the perfect split 2.
3 wins left for the Chiefs. 3 hurdles left for the Chiefs to have a perfect split. This game still, I feel like you could say, was closer than the scoreline gave it. But an early game attempt from PGG was handled quite nicely. A couple of really rough circumstances, maybe errors, whatever it was. Chiefs got ahead early and it just continued on that path. But they fought their way through, and full respect to Pentanet for continuing to fight their way out, as we haven't seen from them a lot in some of their losses earlier in the split.
Either way, very entertaining, especially when an army gets to pop off as much as that.
Ridiculous.
8-4. Oof. Someone stop that menace from chaos and kills. Me and Mac were literally yelling in the green room when he picked up his 7th kill after the Imperial Mandate, and Rusty was molding as well. All support mains understand. I understand as a Nami main, just can't resist pressing W, and it just bounces on with the cheeky
It's just a heal.
chaos, and it just built into the champion. But
It was just it was a match of the week. It looked like it wasn't going to be for the first 12 minutes, but at the same time, like, there was just so much fighting constantly. You come back from a replay, there's another gank happening with like 8 people involved, and it's just like back to back, so much going on.
this is tragic.
How this man survived is
Oh, no.
well,
He gets
the
survived
deny.
and died to the tower was just completely ridiculous. You could see Yuri in the player cams, just so many moments like that, right, where he just couldn't have the impact that he wanted during that early game, and it just made things that much more difficult for PGG to even just exist or do anything. I feel like, look, you need to shout out to Pradith, who kept up in terms of the gold department for the early game as well, considering he was in the lane all on his own, had so much to deal with that Lucian, with that Nami just constantly harassing him. And then towards the late game, these team fights were just chaos, pure chaos.
I feel like, yes, PG is an early game, but from this game up against the Chiefs, they shut them down in the very early game, where we actually saw Rogue do pretty much nothing, because in execution they basically lost every single skirmish, which is explaining the score. And Aldork, even on the Enchanter, we saw him roaming top, where I believe it was Winter getting weak-sided, and the Nami, although playing towards his own lane, he also did win other lanes as well once again. And Arthur on this Wukong just made so many good picks with Nami, where it's just they had 3 winning lanes basically. And it's really hard for Balkan to do well, because it's hard when top and bot are losing, when your mid laners are Ryze, QWE, Ulta 4. Yeah, it's kind of like that, you know? I'm sure Balkan's gonna go back to the scratching board.
Yeah, go scratch those nails or something, right? Now, look, big dub. Chiefs still undefeated at the end of all of that. And there was like felt like a 9k gold gap at like 20 minutes in. And that went for a whole 10 minutes and only barely, went that little bit further. Anything in terms of the builds that stuck out to anyone? Kitty and I at the back were talking about the Ryze build. He had to pretty much go tank to exist in the game.
To be fair, that is the default Ryze build, I believe. A lot of people like to go tanky, because if you walk up and you get one shot, then what's the point? Because you're such a short-ranged mage.
I guess like once upon a time you'd see like Everfrost, Frozen Heart, right? Just full blue Ryze, just become as tanky as possible, and then yeah. But I guess in this case, the Crown of the Shadow Queen, maybe not the easiest way to try and proc it. What are you looking at, really? Like a Talia Boulder, perhaps, or maybe a cheeky Nami, like Tidal Wave, perhaps. They tried to really rally behind it and make sure that Ryze popped off, but wasn't to be.
Wasn't to be indeed, but it was to be for a certain individual. That, of course, was our friend Alidoric. So let's get him on for the interview. Mate, how you feeling after that? Carrying on Nami?
Feels really good, especially after watching the pre-game video where people are calling us overrated, but I guess we're not.
Not overrated, and you guys definitely proved that in that match up against PGG. So tell us about this matchup. You guys decided to go for the Lucian Nami, where they picked Aphelios and Alistar. So how did the lane work out for you guys, and how did you decide to play it? Because you obviously did really well on that Nami.
The lane is just like both lanes need level 3 to fight, but Aphelios needs like his purple gun and blue gun to be able to have any threat on us. So they pretty much just lost the lane at level 1. They're like, I don't know if the stream saw it, but they lost all their pots and all their health at like level 2. So the lane was just over at level 2.
An interesting take. So we had Arthur in the background just being a little nuisance. But at the same time, what was Raze saying every time you stole one of those kills? Because you weren't just stealing them in bot lane. You were going up top for these ganks and only having one ability having any value, and it was the one that was stealing the kills. So was that a fun one for the boys, at least in the team comms?
It was fun, but I didn't even realize I had like 5 kills until I pressed tab at top, and I was like, oh wait, I'm actually really strong. But yeah, no, I wasn't like trying to take the kills. No one really noticed it, I think, either. So.
No one really noticed it, but we noticed it. So a bit cheeky from me, Ali. But let's talk about this split. Is 21-0 going to be reality for the Chiefs for split 2?
Absolutely. It's pretty smooth sailing from here on out.
Let's see if the Oceans allow that as we move forward. Ali, we're going to let you go. Enjoy the W. Enjoy the undefeated split so far.
Thank you.
Always good to chat with him. And yeah, interesting to see it took 5 kills before he noticed he actually had 5 kills. Just
You'd think the
quick tap chat.
7-minute Imperial mandate when he bought it.
How did I
How
get
have
so
I
much
afforded
gold?
this?
Yeah. Where'd that come from?
A fun one. A very fun game for all the Chiefs members there. Now, only one of them, unfortunately, for all of them, can be that Dare MVP. We know Raze wants it. There was a world where Raze got at least, 4 more kills down towards that bot lane. But who do we think is in the run-in for the Dare MVP for the first game of the day?
I'm going to state a fact. Aladoric was tied for the most kills on a singular person in that game, where Wukong was also 8 kills, Nami was 8 kills.
I would like to put Arthur out there because he had a lot of impact.
Yeah,
a
I'd pick
huge
Arthur
amount of
as
impact.
well.
Yeah, Arthur or Raze.
Pick
I'd say it's probably Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur, again, throw it to the man. Look, Raze, sorry. But it
Nami,
is
what the
going to
hell?
be the man in the jungle, Arthur, with a big performance today. He did turn up. He played that Wukong spectacularly and had 72% KP. But this man was all around the damn map, securing that first blood as well, even though it was answered back by Balkan. It just set the tone for the whole series.
Yeah, I mean, securing the first blood was still a tower dive at level 3 under the gangplank, right? Which gave Topoon a very free experience. It's one thing that Arthur's been doing most of this split, is giving Topoon the best experience that he can possibly have in his ganking lanes and diving towers where most people aren't anymore, especially when they buffed towers. But here he is.
Still doing it like an absolute king. But look, we've got another game to get to, of course. That one's coming up just after the break. Match 2 may be just as action-packed as what that one was. Or will it be? I guess you'll have to find out after the break. I was a mammoth after this.
Off successfully, but will the fight break out afterwards? That's a 2-man tidal wave, and Arthur finds this ticket into the fight. The Weaver's Wall, where you going? Telly looking for the one shot on towards Predator. Seismic shot, the kill, and the bot lane is gone. It's a double again for Arthur, as this Wukong is absolutely unleashed. And I bet you now, Shelly gets a second.
Yuri completely separated from the fight.
Hey, look, menu pump.
Right, very good. Well, we'll let you go and get ready for your game, Arthur, and we'll see you maybe afterwards if you get a big W.
Afterwards?
Thanks.
Afterwards? Hey, look, I'm... hey.
I need to be soft on this broadcast.
Who's the 5th person on your missed calls list on your phone?
It's probably spam
It's probably a
call.
spam
Yeah.
call if you're on America.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
Yeah, it's a spam call for sure. Which phone app can you not live without?
I mean, there's so many like internet apps. I honestly think I could live with like any app on my phone. I don't think I need everything, to be honest. I'm going to say like nothing.
Oh.
You're stranded on an island with no internet, but you can have one song saved on your phone. What song is it and why?
Rumbling. The newest Attack on Titan
Attack on
opening
Titan?
song, for sure.
What's your reason?
I don't know.
That
Sounds
was
good.
the question.
It sounds good. You've been arrested. Who is the first person you call and why?
Probably my mum. Tell her that I've been arrested for what reason. I don't know why I'd be arrested for that.
What did you do?
Don't know. What would I get arrested for? I don't go